Remember we met, I could tell by your smile. You hadn't been with a good girl like me in a while. Yeah, you were impressed, couldn't leave me alone. Text me every time that you pick up the phone. And I had control in the driver's seat, but my hands are slipping off the wheel. Now the tables have turned, now I'm up all night. I'm picturing you, acting like a fool. I'm on the other side, you're like a full moon, and I'm up all night, howling at you.
Hi. What is it that makes the British think that everything must be big? Perhaps it's because, in terms of size, we're a small country. In terms of population, we're not that big, and yet we punch well above our weight on the international scene. But you know, when you think locally, we need to get away from that mindset and start to think in terms of perhaps something that is not tiny, but a wee bit smaller. Our local council has merged with the next door, that's Lewis, has merged with the next door community, Eastbourne, and it's absolute chaos. It just isn't working. And now they're talking about having a unitary authority. In other words, a much, much bigger organisation. They can't handle this one and they want to get bigger. What's the mindset? Oh, now we come down to medicine, where we've got some very, very good local surgeries. What do they want to do? They want to join up. And they want to make it a big, big operation. So you'll no longer walk in and the receptionist will know who you are. And I want to know how they're going to handle this one, because anybody over 65 can have a designated doctor. And you walk into this huge operation, how are you going to insist that you have your designated doctor? Does that mean that you're going to have to go down the line? Then it'll take a long time before you actually see that doctor, because if that's so, that means that the older people, for whom this facility was made to make sure that they can maintain their health and they have doctors who know about them, that means that they won't see those doctors and that the elderly will start to deteriorate and not get the attention that they deserve. So what is it that makes us think that we've got to go big? The same thing has happened with broadcasting. Right? Jeremy Hunt, controversial figure, I'll grant you that. Not many people seem to like him. But he had the right idea. He went and did his homework when it came to local television. But of course, his civil servants couldn't possibly think small, could they? No, they couldn't. So as a consequence, we don't have any local television, really. I mean, basically the old ITV with one or two thrown in, including Brighton. We're not covered by Brighton, so what difference does that make to us? But the tiny towns TV, it succeeds everywhere in the world except here. We don't have it here because we can't think small. I don't listen to all the nonsense about, well, we're interfering with the airwaves, with the frequencies because of France and so on and so forth. We're perfectly capable of having small scale on a special event basis. So if we can have it that way, why can't we have it on a week-to-week, day-to-day basis and give some of these licenses to small operators? I know why it is. It's because Ofcom is big, right? It used to be the IBA, the Independent Broadcast Authority, and then it's had several titles since, but it was quite small. You could walk in through the front door and you could have a chat to somebody who knew what you were talking about. Not any longer. There's a great big place across the bridge in Vauxhall. I think it's Vauxhall Bridge, and when you walk in, there's a battery of people to make sure you don't get to see anybody that you can possibly talk to that will give you any good advice at all. And if you try email and phone, which of course they prefer, is listen, I'm grey. I've got very little hair. I should be greyer. I should lose even more hair while I'm waiting for a proper reply. I mean, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And yet here we are dashing towards big local authorities, big medical centres, big television. And the only thing they can't control, of course, is so far, well, they can to some extent, but is the internet. And luckily for everything that is said about Facebook and YouTube and the giants, what they've done is they've enabled local television to come to people. Okay, you have to watch it on the internet. More and more people are watching television on the internet, and actually there are many ways that this could be transferred for those who are so used to watching through a television set. The sort of thing that we do could be transferred to that without upsetting any frequencies whatsoever. It is just absolutely crazy, and Ofcom have actually admitted that their efforts to bring local television to various areas has been a failure, and they're not investing any more money. So there, it's from the horse's mouth. So why don't we stop trying to be big? Let's be big on the world stage by all means, and let's keep some big operations. For instance, you can't build a ship in a kayak yard, but by the same token, the small guy, the entrepreneur, needs to be encouraged, because otherwise we're going to lose all sorts of things out of our community and to our cost. That's the rant for this morning. Little bit.
If ever I had a video, would you dance in it? Would you dance in it? Oh, sunshine, you are my sunshine.